Hello students, welcome back to geometry. We're continuing with lesson 5.2. We're going to do this proof that shows that these two triangles are congruent. Now before we go any further with this, there are a couple little miscellaneous rules that I want to talk about with you guys, and you can find these in the book if you read through the text. So the first one is the third angle theorem. And here's the idea. This is a spin-off of the angle sum theorem, the triangle sum theorem. If I have a triangle and this angle is 100 and this angle is 50, and then I have another triangle where this angle was 100 and this angle is 50, that means this angle is congruent to this angle and this angle is congruent to this angle. But if the first one's 100, the second one's 50, the third one has to be 30 on both of them. I drew this picture badly, I apologize. Point being, if the first two angles of a triangle are congruent, the third one also has to be congruent. So if I had two triangles like this, and I knew this angle was congruent to this angle, and this angle was congruent to this angle, by the third angle theorem, I could also say that this angle is congruent to this angle. The other thing that I want to talk about, this is a property that we're going to talk about a lot. This is called the reflexive property. Now, the reflexive property is used to say that something is equal to itself, or something is congruent to itself. So, for example, if I have this segment right here, AB, I could say AB is congruent to AB. And I would say that's because of the reflexive property. Now, why would I do that? Why would I want to show that something is congruent to itself? Well, just like the picture that we just looked at here, if this is AB right here, it's possible for AB to be located on two different shapes. And so if I want to show that corresponding sides are congruent, I can use the reflexive property to say that something is congruent to itself. All right, that being said, let's go back to our proof. In order to show that triangle ACD is congruent to CAB, I'm going to need to prove that 3 sets of corresponding sides are congruent and 3 sets of corresponding angles are congruent. So, I can go ahead and start writing that out. So I've got my proof here. I'm going to do statement 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to make a little note here that these are going to be the angles. That's not an official part of the proof, that's just for my own organization. And then 4, 5, 6, and these are going to be the sides. So, looking at the thing that I'm trying to prove, I know that I've got triangle ACD, so I want to show that angle A, I can't call that angle A because there are 3 angle A's. So I have to say angle DAC is congruent to angle ACB. Now, if I look at those angles, DAC and ACB, I can see there's this mark on the picture that shows that they're congruent. So, since it's already on the picture, the answer is given. Now, the next one I have to prove is that angle DCA is congruent to angle CAB. And if I look again, that's this angle here and this angle here. And again, it's on the picture already. Those marks are already there, so that one's given. Step 3, I need to show that this third angle is congruent. So I need to show that angle D, and I can call it angle D because there's only one angle D, is congruent to angle B. Now that one doesn't have a picture, but I can say that those are congruent because of the third angle theorem. Remember, the third angle theorem says that if two angles in a triangle are congruent, then the third one must also be congruent. All right, so now let's go ahead and move on to the sides. I need to show that the corresponding sides are congruent. So I need to show that side DA is congruent to side CB. And if I look at the picture, DA and CB, that is given. And again, DC is congruent to AB. And I look at the picture, those marks are already there, so again, given. Now this one can be a little tricky, but if I look at it, I need one more side. And this is a spot where we see that the third side of both triangles is AC. And I can say side AC is congruent to side AC because whenever I say something is congruent to itself, that is the reflexive property. And now, step 7, I can say that triangle ACD is congruent to triangle CAB. And the reason that I will put here is I know that because the corresponding parts